So thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed a nice 3-day weekend, even with all that's going on. I hope you got outside and enjoyed the weather. So here at the Chamber, we're still trying to get you connected to businesses, information, and each other. And I really hope that these webinars help with that. I've been having a lot of fun running them. So today should be great. We have Debbie Wolpov of Merx Payments presenting payments in the time of COVID-19. So just some quick rules rundown. I'm sure you know the drill if you've sat on these before. So I'm gonna mute all. You won't be able to unmute yourselves. Please use the chat feature for questions and comments. It's still fun, I promise. I am streaming this to Facebook Live. Let's see, what else do I have? So hard cutoff time of 11:45. We will be answering questions at the end. I'll make some brief announcements for the Chamber and we'll be all set. So let me just mute all. Hold on one moment.
Okay.
Debbie, you're unmuted and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you to the Chamber. I really appreciate this opportunity. For those that you don't know me, usually I'm up here talking about women in business. Today I'm actually talking about my own business, Merx Payments. I've been in the payment space for over a decade and touched over 1,500 accounts. I'm also a very active member of the Morris County Chamber of Commerce. I'm so proud of the 3 years I spent as chair of the Women in Business program. I've been on the ambassador committee for years, and I've been on the board of directors for about 4 years. So thank you so much for joining. I've seen so many trends these past few weeks and months. As a leader in the electronic payment space, I've seen businesses just trying to remain in business, trying to take payments. I've seen changes in how customers' purchasing behavior and the way businesses are accepting payments. And I thought that this would be a good time to share what I've seen before COVID, as I call BC, during COVID, DC, and after COVID, AC, and the 8 trends that have come out of it. Obviously, the good old days of the Flintstones before COVID, BC. We used to accept cash, check, talk to the clerk, didn't have face masks, interacted, signed receipts, chatted and spent time. I missed those days. I missed those connections. But during COVID, businesses were closed. Businesses couldn't take payments, or if they were out of their office, they needed to accept payments different ways. If they were a retailer, they might have had to switch to mobile pickup or online. Frictionless payments is the wave of the future because customers and merchants aren't connecting anymore. They need a way of accepting payments electronically. So I'm here today to talk a little bit about payments after COVID-19. Consumers want choice, control, and convenience. And out of that, I've seen 8 trends, basically, that I've been focusing on the last 10 weeks. I'll go through them all, but just to give you a preview: decline in cash, an increase in contactless payments, increased use of point of sale systems, an increased rise in e-commerce, as well as taking payments on a third-party virtual basis. I believe we're going to see huge increases in merchants placing surcharges on customers. And unfortunately, chargebacks in certain industries that were always not risky, have seen huge increases. And security before, during, and after, especially with more electronic payments and technologies, will be paramount. Oh, sorry, decline in cash. We see signs like this at our retail stores. We prefer going cashless. Decline in cash transactions below 80%. I was at my farmer's market this weekend and I asked, what have you seen? Have you seen trends? And one of the guys that I buy my pesto from said he used to have 80% in cash, 20% in credit, and he's seen the absolute reverse. Merchants don't want to accept cash, and consumers don't want to take cash. We will continue to see the decline in cash. And therefore, we will continue to see the rise of what we call contactless payments, frictionless payments, near field communication, where you simply wave your phone and it talks to the payment device that the merchant has available. Contactless payments are up to 10 times faster than in-person transactions. MasterCard reported a 40% jump in contactless payments as well. The MasterCard CEO said the trend was being driven by consumers looking for a quick way to get in and out of stores without exchanging cash, touching terminals, or anything else. We go in like this. If anyone has any questions, I know I didn't mention that. Please feel free. Kaylee, does anyone have any questions at this time?
No questions yet.
Okay. Another way of taking contactless payments, and that really good for retail and restaurants, are POS systems. What is a POS system? It is a point of sale system that is multifaceted, that can help restaurants and retailers take payments, track orders, handle customer data. It's robust, it's faster, and it gives them more digital customer retention options, such as gift cards, rewards cards, as well as better trends. I have to give a shout out right now and do a little sharing of my devices. Ty from Servo's Greenhouse last year instituted a bigger version of this clover for his Parsippany store. It was so successful because he got the data, the customer experience was better, and he was able to track sales and receipts and discounts and promotions. This year, before their Newton store opened, they put in another system. And then when only curbside pickup was available, they got 2 wireless devices. These talk to the cloud and they all talk to each other. So now they could take contactless payments at pickup on their devices or even virtually on their computers. And I'm not saying because they have the system or not, but they are able to track, and they had the best May and April that they've ever had in over their 100-year history. I don't know if Ty's on, I don't know who's on right now, but thank you so much. Another huge trend, I don't know if you're like me and my family, every day is Christmas. Every day is Christmas, and they think the UPS man is their daddy. We were bored. We shopped. What did you do? You needed to take and show businesses that you were supporting them. Plus, you just wanted to get that new dress, new pair of glasses. I can't even tell you the stuff that we ordered. Businesses were closed. Retailers were closed. And the only way for these retailers to sell their stuff was transition and use the big word pivot on e-commerce. US saw e-commerce merchants orders rise by 54% compared to the same week last year. and revenue rise by 37%. This is huge. Retailers need a way of gaining those customers back. Even one of my customers in Boonton transitioned to an online store for shipping as well as pickup. And thank goodness, because I had gifts for Mother's Day. So you'll see this trend continue. Third-party payment portals. Basically, it's a way for businesses to take electronic payments, whether it's a credit card or ACH, from their computer, any which way they are. When businesses closed, there was no way for them to invoice if they didn't have their systems at home. There was no way for them to, they had to drive to their office or location and pick up a check. Here you can do invoicing right from your computer. I have a medical supply company now taking this system and just placing a URL link on their invoice, and they get paid and they get their money next day. Membership organizations like the Chamber are having a tough time asking customers to pay their whole chunk right at the beginning. Recurring billing is a great option for businesses that are trying to get money and make it easier for their customers. And the best part about these third-party payment portals is that they are able to optimize interchange. You say, what does that mean? Well, I'll give you an example. I have an industrial supply account that was shipping PPE equipment to the government, to the US government in Washington, DC. Government made a decision during COVID that they would only pay for their goods and services using a government issued purchase order credit card. Normally, that's usually the high range, almost 3%. But because these systems optimize interchange, this business that increased their transactions and their volume over 100%, their effective rate was only 1.73%. Anyone that's taking credit card payments knows how low and how cost efficient that is. So I highly recommend, if you're business to business taking transactions or business to government, definitely speak to me about the third-party payment portals. That would make sense. Well, we know businesses were closed and their expenses also increased during this time. They increased because supply chain was disrupted. They increased because now when they prepare to reopen, they have to invest in new safety procedures for their customers as well as their employees. So their expenses are going up while their volume has been non-existent. Surcharging in the past was considered more acceptable for charities, like a donation fee. But I believe it will be a crucial tool to give merchants the much needed support they need during these uncertain times. Credit card fees are expensive. They pay for the rewards that we all get when we use our credit cards. And this is a way of giving merchants the opportunity to pass along these credit cards. I recently just signed an industrial racking company that will be saving thousands of dollars by implementing a convenience fee to their customers if they choose to pay with a credit card. I even have one of our chamber members, she's a doctor, and she's using a technology fee. If her customers pay with credit card, she'll gladly accept check or ACH. So that's definitely a trend that we will see, not just in retail, I mean, now in retail and possibly in restaurants. Unfortunately, chargebacks are on the rise. You ask, what is a chargeback? A chargeback is a dispute when a cardholder questions a transaction to their issuing credit card company, and then the company reverses the transaction and puts money back into their bank account. It's there to protect the consumer, the cardholder, but what's happening, it's increasing for the merchant. It's complicated, it's a big headache, it's time consuming, and it's expensive. And in seemingly normal times, industries that we all took for granted, there was no such thing as chargebacks, or very few chargebacks. But now, travel-related businesses, summer camps, events, conferences, childcare, anything that has more than a 30-day window is experience higher than normal chargebacks. The merchant is spending a lot of time disputing those chargebacks, working with my customers to help them for the rebuttal for these chargebacks. And in some cases, they are being kicked off merchant services because their liabilities for these outstanding events are so great and can hurt their portfolio. I have a travel agent. They had 5 chargebacks. I helped them manage those chargebacks, and they luckily had signed documentations. Regardless of your industry, you should always make paramount that customers receive a copy of your return policy, as well as your terms and conditions. And luckily, we were able to show, and they won that chargeback. But it's important to have these policies in place now as opposed to later. And lastly, and most importantly, security. As we transition away from cash to more frictionless electronic payments, security is and will always be paramount to make sure that the customer's data is PCI compliant, meaning payment card industry secure, and that their purchases and their customer data will go through seamlessly, quickly, but in a PCI compliant manner. I know of a large deli 2 years ago when they instituted the new chip technology called EMV. They made a business decision not to upgrade their systems, and fraudsters were able to infiltrate through their time share management system. They stole the credit card information of their consumers. They were fined by MasterCard, Visa, and Discover, survived, and then still had to spend money to upgrade to make sure their customers' credit card information was secure, encrypted, and safe. So, just to sum up, the future of payments is going to look far different in the aftermath of the coronavirus pandemic. Consumers and businesses have drastically changed their purchasing habits. The world will become a more seamless, contactless, online system. And we, as business owners, as consumers, in the supermarkets, in the dry cleaners, online, everywhere we go, will need to be more aware and more prepared for those types of digital transactions. I thank you for joining me today, especially after a long weekend, and I appreciate this time. Kaylee, do we have any questions, comments?
Lots of comments, and I see one question so far from Bob Mitchie. Thank you, Bob. Are all industries allowed to use convenience fees or surge charges?
Yes, it depends how they're using them. That's an excellent question. It was in litigation for a long time where surcharging was illegal, and then the Durbin amendment came out, and all states are allowed to surcharge except for California, and New York can do it, and Massachusetts. But there are ways around it. If you use a third-party payment gateway and you send a link for payment, it's perfectly legal and allowed.
Okay, great. If anyone else has questions, please drop them in the chat and we will read them out loud. There are a couple comments here one's from John. I see contactless as the near future smart chip tap and go.
Yes, absolutely. And all the POS systems will have that ability too.
Yes,
it's faster, safer, and quicker. Oh, quicker is the same as faster. Yes. Oh, can I see those comments? I guess I can now. I didn't want to.
I'm seeing some come in right now.
Oh, okay. Can you speak more about Venmo and Zelle? Absolutely. I think they are great options, especially if you're a small business. I know I recently just sent a Zelle payment to someone, and it was, I wouldn't say frictionless, and gave me a little angst because the person didn't get the payment as quickly. But I know that my kids live off of Venmo, and that's the way they divide amongst their roommates and their friends if they're buying gifts. So I definitely think that you'll see an increase in that. And you'll also, hopefully their technology is as secure as we need it to be. All right. Okay. No one commented on how beautiful my slides were.
They are very nice.
Yes, my daughter, son, and husband are all working from home, and so hence I had a whole bunch of little helpers putting the slides together.
Noelle says she loved your slides.
Thank you. Yes, Roseanne, there is a way to automatically add the fee to the charge. You just need the right technology. So it can either be a link for payment with the technology fee on the bottom, or you know, you can do it also. I know you have a website. You can put it on your website and someone can pay on your website, and that way they also see that it's a separate fee, which is important, because we always want to limit our chargeback liability. So the customer needs to be aware of the full charge, the technology / convenience fee, and then the total amount. Wait, I'm going down messages. What is a business that needs you right now? We can refer. Oh, thanks, Nicole. Well, any businesses taking credit cards, obviously, if they're already taking credit cards, I can do a free analysis and see what their rates and fees are. Also to see if they're optimizing interchange, especially if they're business to business or take business to government transactions. There's huge savings. People say, what are your rates? Well, let me do a deep dive analysis and I can tell you if you're optimizing interchange and if there are extra fees associated. So any type of business, and also if retailer restaurants, the Clover system comes in different forms, has been transitioning and pivoting during this time too to online ordering for both retail and restaurants. So they have great new apps that can be integrated and can help everyone. Okay. I can, yes, of course, handle ACH in addition to credit cards, and I recommend that too. ACH is less expensive than credit cards, and my payment portals can handle both.
Fantastic. I see a question here from Deborah. Can you talk about how tipping works in a contactless world?
Yes, so tipping in a contactless world will be, you know, 15%, 18%, or 20%. It will be automatically where you would have to hit the screen or customize the dollar amount you'd want. And then the customer, this is attached to another system on the other side, and you can just insert your credit card or swipe your credit card, and you are able to access how much you want to spend without writing, signing, or touching a pen or paper.
Fantastic, thank you. Let's see, and comment from Casey. It sounds like your value add is that you also stay on top of trends and legislation, so your business is quite consultative.
Thank you, Casey. I love having all my friends on here.
Nice. All right. While we wait,
I'm available for anyone that just wants to talk about the trends, knows a business owner that is struggling. I really have spent the last 10 weeks more so counseling my existing customers, as well as helping other customers, some that are in the chamber, you know, figure out what their next steps are going to look like when they open for business. So please feel free. I've been doing this for 10 years and I've never seen I don't think any of us we know have seen a situation this dire. And so I'm here to help businesses be more efficient, effective, and help their bottom line results. So thank you so much for entertaining me today.
I dropped your contact info in the chat and